There is a tech company from Kosovo making over $16 million in annual revenue. It has over 3 million monthly users and has raised over $30 million in publicly disclosed financing. All of this started by a founder who spent 11 years in America and decided to come back to Kosovo, who then began to digitize the basic information the region was missing. That company is Gjirafa, one of the most ambitious technology companies in the Albanian-speaking world. But here is what makes it interesting, because how does a company go from organizing Albanian search to building across commerce, media, travel and software, and still make every part strengthen the next? And this is not a conversation about whether Gjirafa has built enough. It clearly has. The real question is whether everything Gjirafa has built is now compounded into one clear operating system. Because a company with many products is not the same thing as a company with a flywheel. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly what Gjirafa has built, where that flywheel is still not obvious enough, and what I believe should be done about it. Because most Albanian businesses are built around one product, one market and one problem. But Gjirafa tried something different. It saw a market where the infrastructure itself was missing and decided to build it themselves. Because in Albanian-speaking markets, the global internet did not solve everything for us. Because a lot of basic information was not online. And that's where Gjirafa decided to start building on those missing layers. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly what Gjirafa has built, why the compound problem is the most strategic question it's facing, and what it takes to turn a portfolio of products into one clear platform. What is the origin behind Kosovo's most ambitious technology company, Gjirafa? It is 2012 and Margim Sahani comes back to Kosovo after 11 years in the United States. He had studied computer science, completed an MBA and had a path that could have kept him in America. But when he looked at the Albanian-speaking internet, he identified a problem that most global platforms would have never cared about. The problem was not that Kosovo needed a better search engine. The problem was that a lot of the information that people wanted to search for did not exist online. Bus schedules, local news, business listings, and basic information that people needed every day was either fragmented or not online. So Gjirafa's first real move was not only to build search, it was to build the information layer that search needed in the first place. And this is why the origin of Gjirafa is so important. Because before it could organize the Albanian internet, it had to create it. Because if there's no useful content online, the search engine has nothing to show. So Gjirafa went offline, collected the data, digitized it, and built the index the market was missing. Then in 2016, they released Gjirafa 50, starting a catalogue of only 50 electronic products. From there, the company moved into marketplace, advertising, video, travel, and also enterprise software and talent development. On paper, this is a lot of different businesses, but from our origin, we can realize this comes from one instinct. Because every time the Albanian-speaking internet were missing a layer, Gjirafa decided to build it. Let me break down how Gjirafa actually works, because it's not what most people think it is. Most people will look at Gjirafa and try to compare it to one global company. They'll call it search because it started with Gjirafa.com. They can call it e-commerce because of Gjirafa 50 and Gjirafa Mail, and also media with Gjirafa Video. But the most useful way to understand Gjirafa is not as one product. It is a system built around the Albanian-speaking internet. The first layer is intent. Gjirafa started with search because search tells you what people want. But the strength here is not that Gjirafa just built a search engine. The strength is it built around information that global platforms did not care to organize. In a market where the data was missing, Gjirafa did not wait for the internet to catch up. It went and built the foundations to make that internet useful. The second layer is transactions. Once you understand what people are searching for, the next question becomes obvious. Can they buy it, can they book it, and can they access it locally? That is where Gjirafa 50, mail, travel, and eSIM starts to make sense. Because now you have electronics retail, marketplace, bookings, and connectivity. And on the surface, they all look like separate products. But underneath, they are all doing the same thing, turning Albanian intent to actual transactions. The third layer is attention and monetization. And this is where Gjirafa Video and Gjirafa Ad Network come in. Gjirafa Video gives a company content, culture, watch time, and a reason for people to come back even when they're not buying. Gjirafa Ad Network then turns that attention into business for advertisers trying to reach the Albanian-speaking market. And this is where Gjirafa's position becomes more interesting. Because even though Meta can sell attention and Google can sell global intention, Gjirafa themselves specialize in Albanian commercial intent. The fourth layer is infrastructure, and this is a part most people miss. Gjirafa Tech builds software for companies to use. And Gjirafa's Life does the same thing for people, training engineers into the system. So Gjirafa is not only building platform for users, it is building the technical and human infrastructure behind those platforms. As you can see, the business model is not just 7 random products. It is a 4-layer system of intent, transactions, attention, and infrastructure. And when those 4 layers come together, Gjirafa doesn't look like a company with many different platforms. It is building the operating system behind the Albanian-speaking digital market. But this is also also where the tension lives. Here is the exact reason that Gjirafa's next move should not just be more products. Gjirafa has already done the hard part with building their products. But the real gap to understand is what are those products doing to each other? Because a company does not become a platform just by having more products under their name. It becomes a platform when every product makes the next one even more valuable. Search should tell Gjirafa what Albanian speakers are looking for. Commerce should show what they are willing to buy. Travel should show how people move across the region. Video should show what holds attention. Advertising can show which businesses are trying to reach which audiences. And business performance should show where the market is actually growing. That data, if collected properly, becomes something much bigger than just a store, a search engine, or a media platform. It becomes market intelligence. And this is where Gjirafa has an advantage that global platforms cannot easily copy. Google can understand global search. Amazon can understand global commerce. Meta can understand global attention. But Gjirafa has a chance to understand Albanian commercial behavior across a market. And this is the master flywheel. Search captures intent. Commerce converts it. Transactions create data. Data improves advertising. Better advertising helps businesses grow. Stronger businesses improve selection. Better selection then builds trust, and trust brings users back into the system. And this is how Gjirafa goes from being a company with many different products to being an operating system for the Albanian-speaking digital market. Because the next stage for Gjirafa is taking the data that they already own into one master flywheel. This is what I would do if I was leading Gjirafa's next stage of strategy. The move I would make is a compounding scorecard. Every product will still be measured by normal things, such as revenues, users, attention, etc. But next to that, every product has to answer one more question. What does this product feed into the rest of Gjirafa? Because that is where the business becomes more powerful. A search should not just end at a search engine, it should help commerce. A marketplace transaction should not just end at a sale, it should improve advertising. Video should not just create watch time, it should create attention that businesses can use. Travel should not just sell tickets, it should bring people deeper into the Gjirafa account system. And that is a scorecard. Not just what each product earns, but what each product strengthens the next. Because once Gjirafa starts measuring the business that way, that data becomes even more valuable. Because global platforms will have a hard time to copy this. And this is where Gjirafa can take what it knows and present that back to the market. Because Gjirafa does not only win by knowing where the demand is moving, it wins when businesses use that understanding to make better decisions through Gjirafa. Because a business using Gjirafa should not only see it as a place to sell products, run ads, or reach customers, it should see it as a place that helps them understand what categories are growing, what customers are searching for, what demand is shifting, which regions are moving, and where the next opportunity is. That could become market reports, business insights, advertising benchmarks, category trends, and e-commerce updates for Kosovo, Albania, and the diaspora. And this matters even more because Gjirafa has spoken publicly about working towards IPO. And this becomes a vital part to their IPO story. Because the strongest version of Gjirafa is not that they have many products. It is that they understand the Albanian-speaking digital market better than anyone else and help businesses grow through their platform. Because the more businesses that grow through Gjirafa, the stronger the platform becomes. Better businesses then improve selection. Better selection improves the customer experience. Better customer experience creates more repeat behavior. More repeat behavior gives Gjirafa better data. And better data helps the market again. And that loop is a move not to make Gjirafa look bigger, but make Gjirafa work tighter. Here is a bigger lesson that Gjirafa teaches the Albanian and Kosovan market. Because you don't get a chance to build one clean product and wait for the rest of the market to catch up. Sometimes the infrastructure is not there yet, and the company that sees that gap has to build more than they originally planned. And this is what Gjirafa did. It was building, it saw the gaps and decided to fill them. The companies that matter most are often the ones that are willing to build something that the market was never given. But once those layers exist, the challenge changes. Because the first stage was building what was missing, but the second stage is making everything you build work together. And this is where Gjirafa is at now, as it's proven it can build. But the next stage is making those products work in unison and strengthen one another. Because the real opportunity is not being the company that filled the gaps. It is a company where every gap they filled becomes an operating system. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment what business I should do next. And if you're interested in the Albanian business ecosystem, please do subscribe for weekly videos like this.